This is the last CCTV frame capturing Kelsey Smith alive. Saturday, June 2nd, 2007, inside a Target store in Overland Park, Kansas. Kelsey, 18 years old, walks through the aisles like any other shopper. She is not in a hurry. There are no signs of fear, but the camera reveals a detail Kelsey does not know. Behind her, there is always a man. He appears in multiple camera angles. He keeps his distance. He keeps watching. Just minutes later, Kelsey leaves the store and disappears from her family's life forever. Kelsey Smith, 18 years old, had graduated from high school just 9 days earlier. That weekend in Overland Park, Kansas, everything began as something completely ordinary. Kelsey drives to Target to buy a gift for her boyfriend, John. The two are celebrating 6 months together. According to her family, it was a quick trip there and back. Kelsey planned to meet John at her house around 7:30 p.m. But when John arrived, Kelsey was still not home. Another half hour passed. Phone calls went unanswered. There was no response. Her father, Greg Smith, a police officer, began doing what he called a professional instinct. He contacted surrounding departments to ask if anyone had come into contact with the vehicle, if any accidents had occurred, if any incidents had been reported. At that point, he had not yet called to report her missing. He was trying to find a reasonable explanation for his daughter being late. After more time passed, the family decided to go to Target themselves. They hoped Kelsey might still be in the parking lot or dealing with some kind of issue and unable to make contact. But at Target, Kelsey was nowhere to be found. Her car was not there either. The family drove around the area. They checked each nearby parking lot. Then, in a shopping center parking lot across from Target, they saw Kelsey's car. But Kelsey was not there. For Greg, the car being in a different location was a bad sign. He told everyone to stay away. Then he called the police. About 4 hours after Kelsey was last seen, investigators officially took over. Detectives carefully searched Kelsey's car. Inside, they found Kelsey's purse. They found the gift she had purchased at Target. They found the wrapping paper. These items showed that she had completed her shopping, and that she likely did not leave on her own in a normal way. There were no clear signs of a struggle inside the car. That was what the family was told following the examination. However, at that moment, no one could say for certain that a crime had occurred. On paper, Kelsey was still listed as missing. The most important thing at that point was getting the information out to the public as quickly as possible. The family contacted the press, television, radio, with one single goal: do not let the name Kelsey Smith disappear from the news. In missing person cases, investigations usually begin with the closest circle: family, romantic partner, the last person to see the victim. Greg and Missy were brought into an interrogation room. Greg told his wife directly that they were being watched. At that moment, they were also considered suspects under procedure. They understood this was standard protocol to eliminate incorrect leads, so police could focus on finding the right person. Kelsey's boyfriend, John, was also questioned closely. Investigators asked the same questions repeatedly, in different ways, to observe reactions and consistency. John remained calm. His statements were consistent. There were no contradictions. Gradually, police found no basis to consider him directly involved. But even after eliminating possibilities, they still faced a major problem. They had no leads pointing to Kelsey. Time moved quickly. The family understood that the first 48 hours were critically important in missing person cases. Greg, Missy, and John organized a community search. They split into groups, went through neighborhoods, handed out flyers, knocked on doors. Hundreds of people participated. A family member said they never realized how large their community was until this happened. At the same time, police turned to another critical avenue: surveillance cameras around the parking areas. But accessing the footage was not always immediate. Some locations required waiting for authorized access. Some footage was too distorted, too unclear. When reviewing parking lot cameras, investigators identified a key moment. 9:17 p.m. Kelsey's car appeared in the Macy's parking lot across from Target. Someone stepped out and walked away. but the image was too grainy to identify. The family continued clinging to every possible sign of hope. At one point, footage from another location showed a girl resembling Kelsey, but upon closer inspection, it was not her. Kelsey had been at Target, and Target had dozens of cameras. Investigators needed at least one frame to confirm her route, but they discovered far more than that. The camera system captured Kelsey's entire path through the store. At 6:54 p.m., Kelsey drove into the Target parking lot. She got out of her car and entered the store. She shopped at a relaxed pace, checked out, and walked back outside. Only about 10 minutes after arriving, she returned to her car and left the lot. On the surface, it appeared to be a completely normal shopping trip. No one approached her. There was no confrontation. There was no obvious, unusual behavior. But the following day, as police reviewed the footage repeatedly, a small detail emerged. As Kelsey opened her car door, there was a very fast movement, nearly overlooked. Someone darted behind the car from the left side, just before the door closed. That moment lasted approximately 12 to 15 seconds. After that, the car backed out and drove away. Inside the viewing room, everyone went silent, and they understood what it meant. This was no longer a missing person case. This was an abduction. After determining that an abduction occurred in the parking lot, police reviewed the CCTV again. This time, they focused on a single question: who had been following Kelsey before that moment? And then they recognized a clear pattern. Each time Kelsey appeared on camera, a young man appeared as well. He was wearing a light-colored shirt, dark shorts. He followed Kelsey's path through the store, always watching, always keeping his distance. He gradually moved toward the checkout area. When Kelsey reached the register, the man deliberately exited first, as if intending to go outside and wait. Eventually, a camera in the short hallway near the exit captured his face with relative clarity. Approximately 25 hours after Kelsey disappeared, police released images of the suspect. They appealed to the public for help. Calls flooded in. Approximately 2,000 tips were received. The volume was overwhelming. Processing them sequentially could take up to 2 weeks. That was time police did not have. They returned to the parking lot footage, tracking events after 9:17 p.m. That was when Kelsey's car appeared in the Macy's lot. At 9:22 p.m., a dark-colored pickup truck left the parking lot. A theory was formed. The abductor may have abandoned Kelsey's car at Macy's, then returned to retrieve his own vehicle. Police worked backward to the time Kelsey arrived at Target. At 6:54 p.m., Kelsey entered the parking lot. Just 1 minute later, a dark blue pickup truck pulled in. The image was still somewhat unclear, but it was enough to support the suspect description. A white male, short hair, wearing a light-colored shirt, associated with a blue pickup truck. 3.5 days after Kelsey disappeared, police received a critical call. The caller said they knew who the man in the video was. The name mentioned was Edwin Hall. 2 separate people confirmed it. One was a co-worker. One was a friend of Edwin. Both were certain. The man in the video was Edwin Hall. Edwin Hall was the owner of the blue pickup truck. When police arrived at Edwin's home, they saw him loading items into a vehicle. Beside him was a woman. The scene suggested they were preparing to leave. Edwin Hall was arrested at the scene. During questioning, Edwin admitted he was the person seen on CCTV. He claimed he did not know Kelsey. He denied having contact with her after she left the store. But forensic results quickly contradicted his statement. One of Edwin's fingerprints matched a print found on the seatbelt in Kelsey's car. That proved Edwin had been inside the vehicle. Confronted with the evidence, Edwin could no longer deny the truth. He admitted to following Kelsey inside Target. He waited for her to reach the parking lot. When Kelsey approached her car, Edwin restrained her. He forced her to leave the parking area. Afterward, Edwin returned alone. He abandoned Kelsey's car in the Macy's parking lot. He walked back to Target, got into his pickup truck, and drove away. Later, police obtained Kelsey's phone records. They identified locations based on cell towers. The data related to messages Kelsey sent to John that evening. One critical time marker was identified. Approximately 7:56 p.m., Kelsey's phone connected to a cell tower near the search area. Using this data, authorities organized a search at Longview Lake. It was a wooded park, about a 20-minute drive from Target. Not long after the search began, the team made contact. They said they had found Kelsey. She was not alive. Edwin Hall was charged. He pleaded guilty. The court sentenced him to life in prison, without the possibility of parole. Surveillance video was the most critical piece of evidence. It helped police capture the perpetrator, but it could not bring Kelsey back. Kelsey Smith's story does not end as just another case file. It became a legal legacy. Through the tireless efforts of Greg and Missy Smith, Kelsey Smith's law was enacted. The law prioritizes human life. It removes administrative barriers during the earliest hours of a missing person case. Kelsey's death directly helped save others in future emergencies. This case is a reminder. Danger can hide within the most ordinary routines. Trust your instincts. Stay aware of your surroundings, and never let your guard down, even in places that seem safe. Thank you for taking the time to listen to Kelsey Smith's story. If this video provided value, please like it, subscribe, and share. Every comment you leave helps motivate us to continue searching for the truth.